Hey, it's Rene Roth coming to you live, your online natural therapist and homeopath. I want to share with you today about the impact of having poor sleep for a chronic long period of time. But just before I get into that detail, there are many different causes to why someone might suffer with insomnia, and they are as varied as there are individuals. But that could be a combination of stress, anxiety, depression, life circumstances, food allergies, inflammation, physical pain at night, restlessness. All these things could contribute to poor sleep. But what is common is the effect of all that, the chronic consequence of having poor long-term sleep. And what can often arise of that, we know there is an increased risk of type 2 diabetes, there's increased risk of sleep apnea, which often associated with being overweight, so obesity issues are significant, cardiovascular disease, high blood pressure, heart failure over a long period of time, but even Alzheimer's disease. I just watched a program on Alzheimer's disease, and the impact of chronic poor sleep will propitiate that condition as well. So there are many conditions that will be potentiated as a result of having poor sleep over a long period of time. But many of us know the fact that your memory, your cognition, your focus, your recall, all this is definitely impacted. Your motor skills, so your walking, your writing, your ability to drive, your focus and concentration when you're on the road is definitely an issue. Your mood can be altered, and that irritability, more impulsive, more angry, more explosive, and also the increased risk of anxiety and depression, as well as from having poor sleep. So that could be a cause, but that could also be a consequence as well. We know that when you're asleep, your immune system is repairing and regenerating. So those who have chronic poor sleep are more prone to having recurrent infection, whether that be bacterial or viral or parasitic or it doesn't really matter, it's whatever. So the immune system is definitely compromised. But even when you're asleep, your body produces hormones, your body supports the recuperation, repair of your tissues. You actually grow whilst you're sleeping at night. So all these things are absolutely imperative to occur for a window of time, and whether that's your 6, 7, 8, 9 or 10 hours, depending on your age as well. Sometimes typically as you age you need less sleep, and like a baby needs like 15, 17 hours, where an adult might need at least the 8 hours. If you're not getting your 7 to 8 hours, definitely you're potentially setting yourself up for maybe some health issues to arise further down the track. But generally a lot of people feel just generally fatigued and tired and worn out. And so if you're not getting the deep sleep, that impacts more on your energy, and if you're not having the REM sleep, that affects more your cognition, your memory and your recall. So it's important that you have that duration of sleep, so you go through all those cycles. That's what's imperative about having a good quality sleep. So there's some of the impacts of having poor sleep over a period of time. So it might be a temporary issue, but chronic, it can certainly be very debilitating in terms of the weight gain, the obesity, the diabetes, the Alzheimer's disease and the heart disease. They're just some of the common ones which we know, and clinically that is substantiated by that. So importantly, some people find that their sleep issues might be a fact that they can't fall to sleep. So their mind is active, they might be feeling restless, there might be some physical pain, so that needs to obviously be managed, or they might find that they can fall asleep okay, but they're waking through the night, midnight, 1 a.m, 3 a.m, maybe getting up for bladder or whatever. So it's important to monitor the amount of fluid you're having in those last few hours as well. But now let's look at some strategies. There are a number of strategies. There are essential oils, herbs, minerals, vitamins, and some protocols which you can put into place. But I want to touch on an essential oil, and because this is something that not a lot of people have embraced. And we use a particular essential oil called sleep, and it has a wonderful combination of ingredients which include lavender, Roman camomile, petitgrain, valerian and Indian sandalwood. Now I'm just going to touch on each of those, particularly in how you might use that. So valerian, let's conjure up an image of valerian, and perhaps you've had that valerian association with your mother or your grandmother, so that evokes a nostalgic feeling, a relaxing, a sentimental feeling, some good memories. So, and we know in its own right, it's absolutely an antispasmodic, it's a calming, it's soothing, it's specifically indicated insomnia, anxiety and depression. So valerian is really, really key. Oh, sorry, the lavender, I should say, that's lavender. Valerian, let's jump to that. We've used that as a herb for many, many years in herbal medicine, but also it's a very relaxing essential oil. And when we talk of essential oils, what are essential oils? Well, they're concentrated extracts, and the essence, it's believed that the oil, because the word essential comes from the word essence, which they believe the oil encaptures or encapsulates the energy and the therapeutic benefit of what that plant actually contains. So the valerian is really key. So soothing, relaxing, antispasmodic, a calmative, a nervine and so forth. The Indian sandalwood is great for nervous tension, insomnia. The Roman chamomile, we all know about chamomile tea and how soothing that is. So the essential oil has a similar benefit as well, and that's also refreshing and invigorating for the coming day. And the petitgrain from orange, that's also very much soothing, but also has a refreshing quality around it. Because you just don't want, a soporific sleep. You want to have a good sleep, but also it's a refreshing sleep as well. So the essential oils, and whether you put that in your bath before you go to bed, whether that's on a hanky or a tissue, or whether it's in a diffuser in the bedroom, or you've had that exposure in the last couple of hours before going to bed, so the therapeutic benefit of inhalation of those oils, which are diffused through a diffuser or atomizer, can be wonderfully beneficial. But let's have a look at some other things which can be really helpful. So supplementing, and the B group vitamins are really, really key. We know their importance for sleep, but also for stress and anxiety and for energy. The St. John's wort, the valerian, the magnesium, these are some minerals which are really, really key. And we use a product called Stress Health, which has a really nice combination of lactium, B group vitamins, St. John's wort, valerian, and so forth. So this is really important to support your health and well-being. So the supplementing is significant. Probiotics, we know categorically there's correlation between your gut microbiome, the production of your neurotransmitters such as serotonin, dopamine, melatonin and so forth. So there's a cascade of production of neurotransmitters, and 90% of your serotonin is manufactured in your gut, but 90% of the receptors are in your brain. So having a really good gut health, a right combination of the bacteria in your gut is so key for good health and well-being, and particularly for your sleep as well. So the probiotic is key. Some people might use some flower essences like your bark flower remedies or your rescue remedy or Australian bush flower essences. They can be helpful. Homoeopathics, and that's my forte. Definitely we've found the benefit of homeopathic medicines. But one thing that's important too is about some consistency and routine with your sleep as well. So what is key is to get to bed at a regular time, and ideally it should be around about 10:30, and waking up at a routine time as well. Now, what's key is also about creating some strategies and routine on going to bed. So that may be having a bath, and why not put this sleep essential oil in your bath, a few drops into a teaspoon of milk, because the milk helps dissolve, because the oils are fat soluble, dissolves the oils, pop that in the bath, relax in that in a warm to hot bath for anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes or so, then going off to bed in a cooler room, because it's that rise and drop in temperature which helps also induce sleepiness. So that's really, really key. To also avoid the electronic media, so that's TVs, movies, your Facebooking, your mobile phone. Don't check your emails in those last couple of hours before going to bed. And it's also about avoiding other stimulants, and that's coffee, alcohol, well, particularly those two, and not to eat in those last couple of hours before bed. If you are hungry, the only thing you're permitted is a protein, and that might be a pea protein snack, or it might be some almonds or an egg, because you don't want anything sugary. So don't have the cup of tea with the biscuit, don't have the bit of fruit even, no fruit before bed, and don't have carbohydrates or chocolate. They're the worst things you can have, because they're all convert to sugars, and sugars give you energy. And the consequence of that too, you're not burning that off, and what happens when you don't burn off those calories? They turn to fat, which is something which is counterproductive. You want your bedroom to be totally dark, because when you're asleep in the dark, or trying to get to sleep in the dark, your body is producing melatonin, and that's a sleep-inducing hormone. That's really key. You may also want to have absolute quietness, so that's key, except for people who find that the quietness is too quiet. You want to have pink noise, and that might be a fan in the background. So there's this monotonous hum of a fan might be beneficial. Or you may download something on the internet which is what we call pink noise, and it might be the sound of waves or wind or rain, so this very monotonous sound which can help induce certain brain waves to help induce sleep, so that's really key. Exercising in the morning, that's important. Don't exercise in the evening if you can avoid. So exercising in the morning is ideal, but also it's about having some morning sunshine, and what a beautiful day we have here today. Well, we're in Melbourne and we're absolutely revelling in a nice day, or it's about time, hey? It's also having a good clean diet, eating well. That's certainly going to support your health and well-being. Not napping during the day. If you're suffering with insomnia, don't nap during the day, because that will compromise your sleep at night. If you have a poor night's sleep and it's just a one-off, you're not suffering with insomnia, having a nap, often around 3 p.m, can maximise your energy just for like 25 minutes or so, and then you'll be back on track. So hopefully there's some strategies which you find helpful. So we've got essential oils, we've got minerals and vitamins, we've got homeopathics, we've got some essences. You have a routine to put into place, and you can find those things on the internet. And some of those things I knew, but also I did do some Googling and sort of compressed all that into this little live here for you today. So if you want to access some more information, feel free to contact me. Put a 5 in the comments, particularly when we talk about an essential oil and the beautiful aroma of a sleep essential oil. If you want to grab an essential oil today, certainly feel free to contact the person who shared this with you or myself. We have a 20% discount on a sleep combination, which is beautifully effective, and hopefully that will, certainly support your sleep issues. And number one is to examine the cause, mitigate and modify the causative factors, so you reduce the risk of the chronic illnesses which can occur as a result of chronic lack of sleep and sleep deprivation. So have an awesome day, and we'll catch you next time. Cheers now.